The stars are still sharp in the sky when I step out of my hut. My name is Silas, and I am a ghost of the greenwood. While the village sleeps behind stone walls and heavy bolts, I live where the moss grows thick and the shadows have teeth. The year is 1347, and the royal forest of Bear is my cathedral, my workshop, and my prison. Listen, can you hear it? The forest doesn't wake up. It simply breathes. A low moan of oak branches rubbing against each other, the frantic scuttle of a badger, the distant hoot of an owl that's seen too much. In the Middle Ages, the forest is a place of magic and terror. People in the village fear the woods. They tell stories of fairies and outlaws. But to me, every leaf is a page in a book I've been reading for 50 years. My first task isn't for myself, but for the blacksmith you met before. Without my coal, his forge is cold stone. I walk to the hearth, not a stone fireplace, but a massive mound of earth and wood. I've been guarding this fire for 3 days and 3 nights. If I sleep too long, the fire breaks through the earth and burns the wood to ash. If I don't give it enough air, the fire dies. I rake the dirt, watching the thin blue smoke. It's a sweet, heavy smell, the scent of oak and birch slowly turning into black gold. My hands are permanently stained, darker than the night itself. I am a Carbonarius, a charcoal burner. The villagers call us the black men of the woods. They think we are half demons because we live in the smoke, but we are just men who have learned to talk to the fire. By mid-morning, I shoulder my bow and my axe. I am not just a worker, I am a guardian. You see, these trees do not belong to the people. They belong to King Edward III. Under the forest law, every deer is the king's pet, and every branch of oak is his property. If a peasant is caught with a bow in these woods, he loses his hand. If he kills a royal hart, he loses his life. I walk the boundaries, looking for asarts, illegal clearings where farmers try to steal a bit of land for their crops. It's a lonely war. I am the man who has to tell a starving father that he cannot take a fallen log to warm his children. It is a heavy burden, but the king's law is as cold as winter iron. Let's talk about the harvest of the wild. Most people think we only eat bread and pottage, but the forest provides for those who know her secrets. I stop by an old, rotting stump. There, growing like pale ears, are mushrooms. Not the poisonous death caps, but chanterelles and puffballs. I gather wild garlic, leeks, and hazelnuts. I find a beehive high in a hollow elm. Honey is the only sweetness we know in 1347. It's liquid gold. But you have to be fast, and you have to be brave. The sting of a forest bee is a small price to pay for a taste of heaven on a piece of stale rye bread. I move like a shadow, barely disturbing the ferns. If you make noise in the woods, you are either a predator or a fool. I sit by a small stream to eat my midday meal. It's just a hunk of hard cheese and a bottle of watered-down cider. The water in the stream is clear here, filtered by the roots of 1,000 trees. It's better than any well in the city. As I eat, I think about the travelers I met on the road yesterday. They spoke of a great sickness coming from the south. They say the cities are becoming graveyards. Here, under the canopy of ancient oaks, it's hard to believe in such things. The forest has seen plagues before. It has seen kings rise and fall. It will be here long after Silas the forester is dust. There is a strange peace in that. The trees don't care about our wars or our sickness. They only care about the rain and the sun. After my meal, I get to work. I am coppicing the hazel trees. This is a craft of patience. We cut the tree to the ground, and it grows back in long, straight poles. These poles will become the walls of houses, the handles of tools, and the shafts of arrows. I use my billhook, a curved blade that's been in my family for generations. Thwack, thwack. The wood is green. It smells of life and sap. I bind the poles with willow withes. No nails, no glue, just the strength of the plant itself. People think the Middle Ages were primitive, but we know how to make the forest work with us, not against us. We are not masters of nature. We are her clever children. The sun is dropping behind the hills, turning the leaves into stained glass. My workday is ending, but my vigil is not. I return to my charcoal mound. I feed it one last time, patting the earth down with my shovel. I walk back to my small hut. It's made of wattle and daub, small and cramped, but it's mine. I light a single tallow candle. The smell of animal fat is strong, but it keeps the darkness at bay. I hear the wolves starting their song in the deep valley. Some say they are the souls of the wicked. I think they are just hungry, like the rest of us. I lie down on my bed of dried ferns. My muscles are stiff, and my lungs feel heavy with smoke. But as the wind whistles through the thatch, I feel the forest wrap around me like a blanket. Tomorrow, I will wake up and guard the king's trees. Tomorrow, I will keep the fire alive. I am Silas, the keeper of the greenwood, and this is my workday. My home is not a house. It is a wattle and daub hovel. Most people in 1347 live in such places, but mine is hidden deep in the thicket. To build it, I wove hazel branches into a frame, the wattle, and smeared it with a mixture of clay, straw, and animal dung, the daub. It smells of the earth, but it keeps the wind out. When the clay cracks, I simply smear more mud. Inside, there is no chimney. The smoke from my small hearth rises to the thatched roof, seeping through the straw. It keeps the insects away, but it stings the eyes. My bed is a raised platform of oak boards, covered in dry bracken and sheepskins. In the winter, I share this space with a few chickens. Their body heat is a mercy when the forest turns the forest floor into iron. This is the reality of the 14th century. You are never truly clean, and you are never truly alone, even in the heart of the woods. I hear a snap of a twig. My hand goes to the knife at my belt. It's not a wolf I fear, but a desperate man. Hunger makes men bold. Last month, a weaver from the next village was caught with a snare. He had trapped a rabbit, a royal coney. In 1347, the punishment for vert and venison, harming the greenery or the deer, is terrifying. For a small rabbit, the man was fined more than he earns in a year. If he couldn't pay, he'd face the tumbrel, the dung cart, or the stocks. But for the high game, the red deer, the penalty is often blinding or loss of limbs. I have seen men with their eyes put out for the sake of a king's stag. I walk past the hanging oak on the edge of the clearing. It stands as a silent warning. The forest is beautiful, yes, but it is a landscape of laws that can kill you faster than a winter storm. Let's talk about the healing arts. When you live a day's walk from the nearest barber surgeon, you must be your own physician. The forest is my apothecary. Willow bark. If my head throbs from the charcoal smoke, I chew the inner bark of a willow. It tastes of bitterness, but it cools the fire in the blood. Spider webs. If I cut my hand on a billhook, I find a clean web in the gorse. It stops the bleeding better than any cloth. Yarrow. We call it soldier's woundwort. I crush it into a paste to prevent the rot, infection. In the Middle Ages, we don't understand germs, but we understand the spirit of the plants. I pray to the saints while I gather them, for medicine without faith is like a bow without a string. Every plant has a purpose, placed there by God for our survival. As the fog rolls in, the forest changes. It becomes a place of the hidden folk. In the 14th century, no man is truly an atheist. We know that the woods are full of spirits. I never enter a new grove without leaving a small piece of bread on a stone, a gift for the green man. People say that on certain nights, the wild hunt rides through the canopy, the ghosts of ancient kings chasing spectral hounds. If you hear the baying of dogs in the wind, you must lie flat on your face and not look up, or your soul will be taken. I've seen lights in the marshes, the will-o'-the-wisp, leading travelers to their deaths in the peat bogs. Are they demons, or just the gas of the earth? In my time, there is no difference. Fear is a tool for survival. It keeps you alert. It keeps you alive. By evening, I am hungry again. My main meal is pottage, but today I found something special, a hedgehog. I wrap it in thick clay and bury it in the embers of my charcoal mound. When the clay hardens and cracks open, the quills come away with the shell, leaving the tender meat inside. It tastes like pork, only richer. I supplement this with ship's biscuit, hard, twice-baked bread that I bought from a sailor in Portsmouth. It's so hard you must soak it in ale or cider for an hour before it's edible. It's full of weevils, but we call them cold meat and eat them anyway. Protein is protein. Life in 1347 is a constant search for calories. You eat what you find, or you become part of the forest floor yourself. My only friend is Bran, a lurcher with long legs and a sharp nose. In the royal forest, dogs are a problem. The law says that any dog living near the woods must be expedited, which means having 3 claws of its front foot removed so it cannot chase the king's deer. I hid Bran when the foresters came last spring. I keep him deep in the thicket. He is my ears and my eyes. He warns me of the agistas, officials who count the livestock, and the verderers, judges of the forest. Without him, the loneliness would be a weight too heavy to carry. We sit by the fire, 2 outlaws of the greenwood, sharing a piece of salted fish. The night is fully here now. The charcoal mound is perfect, a steady, low heat that will work while I sleep. I bank the fire in my hut, pulling the sheepskin over my shoulders. I think about the world outside, the king in his palace, the blacksmith at his anvil, the priest at his altar. They all need what I have. They need the wood for their houses, the coal for their steel, and the space for their dreams. I am the shadow at the edge of the map. I am Silas, the man of the oaks. And as the forest wind sings me to sleep, I know that tomorrow the green giant will wake me again. Thank you for staying with me in the deep woods. If you found peace in the shadows of 1347, subscribe to Medieval Workday. Next time, we shall visit the miller and see why he is the most hated and most needed man in the village.